Hi, and thanks again for watching. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to solve one-step equations. So let's skip right ahead. In a one-step equation, you are solving it to find out what the variable must equal. All right, we call them one-step equations because there is only one operation going on in the problem, and we only have to use one operation in order to solve. What you should do to solve is isolate the variable. So that means figure out like what math is being done to the variable, what operation is being done to the variable, and then you undo that by doing the opposite operation. All right, so just kind of a reminder here. The opposite of addition is subtraction and vice versa. The opposite of multiplication is division and vice versa. You're always going to work with the number that's attached to the variable. And this is extremely important right here. Whatever you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other side, or else your equation will not be balanced. So let's take a look at some examples. All right, we have 4 one-step equations going on here, and we have every type of operation, so we're just going to see that in action. So here our first equation is 3 plus x equals 15. So I say to my students, I say, what is happening, what math is happening to the variable? They'll say addition. So we're going to subtract. What are we going to subtract? We're going to subtract 3. And we have to do that to both sides of our equal sign. So we subtract a 3 over here so that they will cancel out. 3 minus 3 is 0, of course, and we'll be just left with the x. The x will be all by itself. But we have to balance that by subtracting 3 on the other side of our equal sign. So 3 minus 3 is 0, and that leaves us with just x. That's the whole reason we do that, okay? To get x by itself, to isolate x. 15 minus 3 is, of course, 12. So that means that x equals 12. Here we have a subtraction equation. So we have x minus 27 equals 53. So 27 is being subtracted from our variable. That means in order to solve, we have to add 27 to both sides of our equal sign. So 27 or negative 27 plus 27 will be 0, so that isolates the variable. The whole reason we do it is to isolate the variable. So 53 plus 27 is 80. So x must be 80. Right down here, this is a multiplication equation. This, again, is how you will almost always see multiplication in algebra, the number and the variable being attached. So our variable is being multiplied by 6. That means in order to solve, we have to divide both sides of our equal sign by 6. So 6x divided by 6. Since 6 divided by 6 is 1, that means we have 1x, or just x. We are isolating our variable. So x equals 54 divided by 6 is 9. So x equals 9. And last equation here, this is a division equation. X divided by 8 equals 9. So in order to undo division, we have to multiply both sides of our equation by 8. All right, so x divided by 8 times 8. Once again, 8 divided by 8 is just 1. So that means we have 1x left. So x must be 72. If you wanted to test any of the answers you got, plug your answer in for your variable in the original equation and make sure you get the right answer. So we could plug 12 in here, and we should ask ourselves, is 3 plus 12 15? Yes, it is. All right, and you should be able to do that for every one of these equations and determine that, yes, I get the right answer every time. All right, moving on. I give my students this quick reference guide for solving equations. Just one-step equations. If it's an addition equation, you'll subtract to get the answer. If it's a subtraction equation, you'll add to get the answer. If it's a multiplication equation, you'll divide to get the answer. And if it's a division equation, you'll multiply to get the answer. So that's just something to keep in mind. All right. We have a few more practice problems. And since I have the time, and if you don't, go ahead and stop the video, but I'm going to go ahead and solve these. So this first equation, x minus 3 equals 4. In order to solve, we're going to add 3 to both sides of our equation since 3 is being subtracted from x. So we get our answer is x equals 7. All right. Over here, x divided by 5 equals 2. In order to solve, we're going to multiply both sides of our equation by 5. And we see that x equals 10. All right, down here, 29 plus x equals 13. We're going to subtract 29 from both sides to find out what x is. In this case, x equals negative 16. All right, and this last equation here, 418 equals negative 22x, so we're going to divide both sides by a negative 22. Just for the sake of time, I'm going to open up my calculator. All right, so x equals negative 19. All right. Okay, so that's solving one-step equations. It should be pretty simple. You use the opposite operation, use the number with the variable, keep your equation balanced. All right, thank you very much.